I can't wait. Ann Coulter is here. We're just going to get right to it. It's going to be a feast. Hello, Ann. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you, Glenn?
I wish I could watch the debate with you because it has to be fun. Where did you watch it last night?
For the presidential debates, I watched them alone. I'm out in L.A. at Command Central, so I can tweet and also pay attention.
Right. So you were all by yourself? That's no fun. People have to watch the debate.
Well, I went out afterwards, if that helps.
Okay. So what did you think?
I don't think this is going to help Obama at all. I knew the media would say he had won, no matter what happened. He could have come out and his head could have twirled like Linda Blair's in The Exorcist, which it almost did. And I just don't think Obama does nasty very well. He seemed testy and sour the whole night, and I mean, Candy Crowley, the most memorable thing, her jumping in on that Libya thing as the moderator and declaring a winner when, oops, the umpire made a bad call, was outrageous.
Okay, you want to go through this? We've walked through it before. See if you can walk through it. Why was she wrong, and why is the president wrong?
Because perhaps Romney shouldn't have said the words act of terror, but he said that Obama didn't call Benghazi an act of terror. And you can read the speech. In fact, I think I'll link to it on my webpage. He did not call Benghazi an act of terror. He said it was just protest, or it was a rowdy movie review. And then he talks about other things, including 9/11. If he was calling Benghazi an act of terror, then he was also calling Benghazi a day in which thousands of Americans lost their lives. He was talking about America generally, our ideals, 9/11, and we will never tolerate an act of terror.
If you go to the transcript posted at whitehouse.gov, it goes even further than that. The transcript statement by the president on the attack on Benghazi, he says, "I have directed my administration to provide all necessary resources to support the security of the personnel in Libya, to increase security at our diplomatic posts around the globe. While the United States rejects efforts to denigrate the religious beliefs of others, we must all unequivocally oppose any kinds of senseless violence that took the lives of these public servants." So that's at whitehouse.gov. That is still their statement on this.
Yes, it's only at the end of the speech. And if you're going to describe everything he talked about falsely as referring to Benghazi, then he's delusional and needs to be put in a nut farm, because he was also talking about the 9/11 attack. The original, the one in 2001. Does he think that happened a month ago?
What do you think was the biggest takeaway from this last night?
That Obama can't run on his record. I mean, that Romney was brilliant on that. He kept saying, Obama would say, "I'm all for drilling." And Romney would say, "But you haven't. I'm all for pipelines, but you haven't." I think the best question, is what I'm going to write about this week, was from, I think his name is Michael Jones, the African-American, who asked a question saying, I was enthusiastic to Obama, I was enthusiastic for you in 2008, but now I'm starting to notice that everything I need is more expensive, and the enthusiasm is gone. I don't think Obama can get away from that, and it doesn't matter how much the alleged media umpires are actually playing on the team for Obama. It doesn't matter that the press room cheered when Obama took his cheap shot at at Romney for being wealthy. People know they're out of work. They know everything they own, their assets are worth less, and everything they need to buy costs more. And Romney said over and over again, the people just don't believe that.
And they just clearly don't. I think that the American people know something's wrong. They know these policies haven't worked. I mean, President Obama kept saying, he's only got it's a 1-point plan. Well, no, Mr. President, yours is, when it comes to taxes, yours is 1 point. Tax the rich.
Yeah.
And the rest of your plan sounds like the stimulus package. Infrastructure and green jobs.
And lots of teachers.
Yeah, lots of we've done all that. It didn't work.
Right.
None of it worked.
Right, and now he's singing a different tune. I mean, his closing statement with that Milton Friedman-esque tribute to free enterprise.
Which was bizarre.
Yes. Wait, isn't this the guy who just and elsewhere in the speech how he supports risk takers and they need to be rewarded? Wait a second, you're the one who said successful businessmen aren't that smart, and you think you're so smart. You're not so smart. You didn't build that. Somebody else did that.
Have you heard anybody? We've been talking about this today, and I haven't heard anybody mention this, and I think this is critical to point out. The president said, in so many words, you will never see $1.85 a gallon gasoline if the country does well. Because he said, let's look back. Why was gasoline so cheap? It was because the economy was on the edge. Nobody.
Right. So what's happening now?
Right. He's saying that the economy is doing so well now that's why gas is so expensive. So when we don't have 25 million Americans that are unemployed, when we don't have 47 million people that are on food stamps, what is our gas going to be $600? I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yes. No, that is it's really a strange double whammy, because generally that is true when the economy is not doing well. Gas prices go down. No, Obama's managed to create a situation where there are 23 million people out of work, 50% of college graduates can't get a job, people are suffering, their houses are worth nothing, and yet gas prices have more than doubled.
Okay, so I think that the American people have been watching these debates. They didn't know Romney, and they've heard all kinds of horrible stories. He's a monster. He hates your children. He wants to go in and tie every woman's fallopian tube. He's a religious crazy and 1800s pioneer garb, whatever. And he's practically half Chinese, and they've heard all of these horror stories from the president. I don't think anybody will vocalize this. But I think because they generally have trusted the president that, no, he couldn't say those things and get away with those things if they weren't true. When they watch him and he looks like the president of the United States, he takes the president of the United States and makes him look like honestly, it looks like an 18-year-old boy next to him.
Yeah.
They see this and they may never verbalize this. They may never even think it. But the program that runs back behind everything in their head, they're like, that doesn't match. What he told me this guy is, he's not that way. So it adds even more to the I can't trust Barack Obama.
I could not agree more, and I can't trust the media.
Well, that's the other thing. The media is down to 8%. So when they cheer, that only hurts them more. It only sends a signal to those who don't trust the media on both sides. That don't trust the media. There's something wrong here.
No, that's right. I also liked Candy Crowley when there's a question about assault weapons and keeping them out of the hands of kids, and fat pitch for Romney on Fast and Furious. He brings it up, and Candy Crowley stops him. No, Fast and Furious, that has nothing to do with guns. So, out of order, you may not discuss Fast and Furious. It was pretty stunning. It was pretty stunning how bad Candy Crowley was, and I'm surprised. One thing that surprised me for the better was, other than the question on from the women's study major at a local community college on pay equity for women, they were all pretty serious questions.
Oh, I thought they sucked.
Oh, well, the Bush question was
the Bush question sucked. The equal pay thing sucked. I mean, they were such softball. We went over these questions
on contraception, or although Obama managed to move it around to that, they weren't on. I expected questions on global warming, contraception, lots on the melting polar ice cap, and other silly things that have nothing to do with anyone's life.
Candy Crowley did say in an interview afterwards that they were trying to get to a global warming question, but they just couldn't get there.
Did she?
Yeah, she did say that in an interview after. And it made me think that, man, think about just Al Gore watching this debate. what a failure his life has become. Here's a guy who has dedicated his life to make this the most gigantic moral cause of our lifetime, and not one question has come up in any of the debates about it.
I would have loved to hear Mitt Romney's answer. I might be afraid of his answer because he might be like your boyfriend, what's his name from New Jersey?
The fat man, Chris Christie.
Chris Christie. I mean, she's
Chris
love of
Christie was good on global warming, but we'll deal with that in 2020.
Was? What?
2020.
He vetoed the global warming bill while saying, yes, he believes in man-made global warming. In these blue states, you have to look at what they do and not what they say. That was in the context of vetoing a global warming bill.
Okay, I don't know.
We have till 2020. We have till 2020 on this.
I don't think I'm going to go with you on that one. But
back to the abominable Obama last night. There was something else you were just saying that you reminded me of. Let's see, the risk takers, the drilling. Yeah, he's all for drilling now. All for but he did still manage to throw in another comment on more money for teachers.
See, I don't think any of that stuff works anymore. He's been talking about it for.
Anything he says works. And by the way, when you say you're worried about what Romney would have said about global warming if there had been a polar ice cap melting question, he was great on the women's pay equity question.
I thought he was
the
okay.
First Republican presidential candidate I've been able to watch and not have a knot in my stomach. I had a knot in my stomach over the moderator and Obama.
Well, I would have liked him to say, I think he could have sat down if he would have said, you know what, talk is really cheap. President Obama says he's all for equal pay. Why are the people on his staff that are female paid 18% lower than the males on his staff?
Fair point. That would have been good.
Yeah.
Would have been really good.
It would have been really good.
Really good.
It would have been really good. Okay, Ann, thanks a lot. The one thing is next week is all foreign policy. Yeah,
so we can get back to Libya.
Right, I've talked to Mitt Romney on foreign policy. He knows it inside and out, and he's on the right side. I think he matches where the American people are. This will be a bloodbath unless Barack Obama does what he did last night, which was all of a sudden become indignant. Did you notice that?
Yes.
He became indignant. How dare you think that I would do anything that would... In Afghanistan, they're dying at 3 times the rate than they did under George W. Bush. What are you talking about? Your policies suck.
And it's not clear what we're doing there. I mean, that, I think, is going to be a tough line for Romney to walk. My theory on why he didn't mention the troops in his speech at the convention, I mean, there were many tributes to the troops, but... it's hard to work that in when Obama has pointlessly escalated the war in Afghanistan, something that Republicans don't support. But we are Republicans. We're not Democrats. We're not going to attack a war that's currently being fought.
All right. The name of the book is Mugged: Racial Demagoguery from the 70s to Obama by Ann Coulter. Ann, good to talk to you.
Great to talk to you, Glenn.
Talk to you next
Bye-bye.
week. You bet. Bye-bye.